Daniel Huston, and this is Podcast for Life. Our first podcast. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Daniel Lassick, and this is Podcast for Life. And I thought today, and for those of you, my venture here, thank you very much. For those of you who subscribe to me, I thank you very much. I did have noticed that I do have a couple of new subscribers. And make these adjustments that I need to make. Okay, now this week we've had Thanksgiving Day on Thursday, so this is the Saturday after that. So we're going to celebrate our little Thanksgiving here. We're going to go over the history. We're going to go over what Thanksgiving is all about. And we're going to hopefully learn a thing or two. Now, today is going to be open line. So, for those of you who are on Get Vocal, you'll see 3 squares around mine. And you'll see in the middle of that, we'll have a little red button there that says grab this spot. You're welcome to just grab the spot. If you're on Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, or any of the other platforms that I'm broadcasting on, right now it is Saturday, 4:07 p.m. And you're welcome to call. My phone lines are open. And the number to call is 606-545-2019. And I'll be happy to put you on the air. So as my phone rings, I'll answer it and you'll be right on the air. Be no waiting. The challenge will be getting through. Yeah. Once you get through, we'll have our time. Today's episode is sponsored in part by the Society for Liberty and Prosperity. It is a group on Facebook. We work towards teaching the people about our history, our nation. We work towards the cause of liberty and honesty. Society for Liberty and Prosperity is a conservative group, patriotic group. We seek to preserve the Union and preserve our traditions and to do the best we can to protect and defend the United States of America. And we have all sworn an oath to uphold that with our lives, our treasure, and our sacred honor, as our forefathers have. For more information, go to Facebook groups and search for Society for Liberty and Prosperity. And once you check out the group, if you like it, hit the join button. And once you're accepted into the group, you're a member. Once you're accepted into the group, you'll be able to come to our meetings, find out what's going on, and get to work. I know I'm going long on this, but I would like to grow the society to where it was back in 2008. I had over 3,000 people involved with the society. And between the Society for Liberty and Prosperity, my campaign uh, group, and many other groups, oh, I was able pretty much to get my word out, and people were able to vote upon which uh, agenda, whose agenda they would like. Yeah, I got 14% of the vote. That's not too bad. Yeah, but the people did choose Mitch McConnell's agenda. And looking back on that now, I would say it probably was a good choice. Because if Mr. McConnell didn't win that election, he'd probably be sitting back in retirement and enjoying the fruits of his labor and relaxing and doing what he wants to do. I'm sure he's doing what he wants to do anyway, but uh, we need to keep an eye on him, communicate with him, love him, and watch as he does that. And what that does, that brings to mind our current constitutional crisis called the 2020 presidential elections. Now, let me give everybody some hope. The major media, newspapers, are sitting there denying that anybody played any games anywhere, anyhow. But the thing is, they're all lying to you. The proof is out there. Now, this takes some time to ferret it out, to find it out, but it can be found. And Google is doing a good job of trying to sanitize their search engines to eliminate the websites where we can get the information. But they can be found. There's still Bing, there's still DuckDuckGo, and there's still plenty of the smaller search engines that we can go to find out all the latest information. What I've been doing is I've been listening to Common Sense podcast, and that is Rudy Giuliani's podcast. Now, Rudy Giuliani is working on the Trump team of lawyers, and he is putting out a lot of information about what's going on. And we're getting ready to file in the Supreme Court very soon. Now we have that. Now I believe that is the reason that the stock market is rallying, because they have a hope that we are going to end up with all the disputes being settled and everything being taken care of, having as much legitimacy to this election as we possibly can. If we just get rid of all the fraud and mayhem and chaos, set it aside, and then figure out how we move forward from there, we'll be ahead. But we got time to do that. The Electoral College doesn't meet. I believe they don't meet until December 15th or 16th or somewhere around there. When the Electoral College meets, then they all cast their votes according to whatever the rules are, for each one of their states. And if we've gotten rid of all the chaos and everything and all the disputes are settled and all that, then I'm sure the electors are going to know how they can vote, why they can vote, and each one of the electors has a vote. And I'm believing that many of the electors, instead of voting the way that they're instructed to, will actually vote their conscience. And in voting their conscience, they'll be carrying out God's will. And that brings us back to our Thanksgiving holiday. The United States is a Christian nation, hands down. It was founded upon Christian principles. That is self evident through the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution. Also, the writings of Abraham Lincoln, Thomas Jefferson, Benjamin Franklin, and others all show that they are all faithful men that pay their homage to the God of nature, the Creator, the Holy One, the power of the universe. Yeah. In the Bible, it is He who has no name, but He does have a name. And the thing is, He did send His Son, Jesus Christ, who lived, taught, and died for us. And then when He came back, He taught us some more. And then when He went back to heaven, still living there, preparing a place for each one of us, that when our time on this earth is over, that we can spend eternity with Him. Now, I'm not going to judge anybody else's faith, and I'm not going to criticize anybody else's faith. But what I will do when called upon is share of my faith and share of how I reconcile my faith with reality, with nature. And I don't believe that spiritual things and physical things are these separate entities as many do. I believe spiritual things and physical things coexist in the same place in the same time. And we don't have to choose which we are coming from because we come from both and we go to both and we exercise both at the same time. What happens in the spiritual affects the physical, and what happens in the physical affects the spiritual. Now, as far as how that is done, I'm going to leave that between you and your maker. And I feel sorry for people who do not believe in God because they are missing out so much beauty in this world. And not only that, but they are missing out on so much truth. And they are definitely missing out on the blessing and ignoring all the evidence that is around them. Now, I'm not talking about people who are doubting God. I'm talking about the people who've rejected God. I feel sorry for them because I know what their fate is. And I know what my fate is. And in the meanwhile, my job is to make a difference anywhere, any way I can. To be a blessing to others, to love my neighbor as myself, and to love God with all my heart, soul, and mind and being. Allow events to unfold as God sees fit, and work towards the coming of his kingdom, for it will come soon. It will come soon enough. For some of us, it'll come sooner than others. So be it. This last year, let's look back on this last year. A lot of us are doing just as good, if not better, than we did last year. A few of us are doing not quite as good, but many of us are actually doing better. Now, the thing is, for the people who have experienced much success in their life this past year, let me congratulate you. Let me celebrate that with you. For the people who just feel like they're just keeping their head above water, let me encourage you. Pretty soon we'll be in a place, one way or another, where you're going to be able to at least touch bottom. And for the ones that are have kind of fallen upon hard times, let me exhort to you not to be discouraged, not to be dismayed. You've done it before, you can do it again. You can pick yourself up by your bootstraps and move ahead. Oh, you lost your job? Okay, big deal. You found that job, go back to what worked that where you found that job and do it over and over again until you find another job. Or create your own job. Use your imagination. Find something that people want, need, and desire. Set a value to it and then see how much of it you can sell. The most wonderful relationship that I can imagine in these days and times, going forward with what I know and what I believe may happen next, and I believe it's worth the risk. I'm praying for a certain result, but I'm not going to share that with y'all. But the most beautiful relationship that I can see is we have a man of means taking on a man deserving of help who has fallen upon hard times and helping him develop an idea that may or may not work out to get him a business and be partnered with him and teach him instead of giving him, teaching him how to do business and how to make a profit. And then sit back and the both of them together reap the benefits of that profit. In this day and time, that is what's most necessary. Our economy is growing, and I'm happy about that. Stock market is achieving record highs according to the media. Well, the stock market's all well and good. Let's get the economy doing the same thing. Let's see about getting some of these high-paying jobs out here and see about how low we can keep the inflation rate. I would like to see a real standard of living increase. I would like to see the value of the dollar rise for a change instead of this get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I believe it's beginning to happen. And we do have Donald Trump to thank for his policies regarding the economy. Before the pandemic have given us the greatest economy the world has ever known. And since the pandemic, we've had a recovery that the world has never seen. And I believe that. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it growing. That's what I'm thankful for. Now, me, myself, and I am doing about the same financially as I was last year, but that's okay. I believe my power and influence may have grown a bit, and I'm again putting my words out there, and I'm seeing progress in my pet projects. I have opportunities before me this year that I didn't have last year, and I also have other opportunities that I can build upon, and I'm figuring it out. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunities that you set before us. Help me choose wisely between them so that I'm not wasting my time or years. Yeah, just like we budget our money, we have to budget our time. We also have to budget our effort and energy to make sure that we stay healthy and look after our self care. And when something gets too low, then maybe it's time to rest, regroup, and rethink this out. Reprioritize. Find out what's really important in life. Make those decisions. We can all do it. We can all do it. You can do it, I can do it. For those of you who are struggling with depression and anxiety, I know it's easy to tell you just relax. It'll be okay. But let me give you the hope. Everything is going to be fine. We're going to get from here to there. May not be an easy road, but we can do it. We have hope. The future will unfold in a certain way, whether we work on it or not. And if we can influence it a little bit, we do need to try. It is very easy to tell somebody who's depressed to just bug up, get over it. But the thing is, that's not what I'm all about. I'm more about showing them how to get over it, showing them how to be more passionate, showing them how to gain confidence. So, those of you who are struggling with depression, here's what I would like you to do. Set a small goal. Let's start with something small. You can't even drag yourself up out of bed in the morning without much effort. Set an alarm clock for 7 o'clock in the morning. Off to getting up out of bed by 7:15. Place your alarm clock across the room from your bed. When it wakes you up in the morning, you will have to get out of bed to turn the alarm clock off. When you do turn the alarm clock off, sit there and say, "Thank you, God, that I'm able to get out the bed and turn the alarm clock off." Celebrate your success that day. And then work to do it again the next day and do that for a week. When you have those 7 successes, and you'll be surprised. It seems like such a little thing, but when you're depressed, and anxious and you're dreading the next day. It is the hardest thing to do is to just get up and out of the bed. But oftentimes when people and they don't always feel like it the first day, second day, third day. Sometimes it takes them a week or two to get used to the idea. But after about a week, most people start seeing a little bit of a difference. And even if they don't see any difference or they don't feel the difference, they can look back on that and say, "Oh, wow, for the last week, I did get up out of bed. I got up and turned my alarm clock off." Doesn't matter if you went back to bed afterwards. You did get up out of bed. Well, it does matter because there are things that we all need to do every day. But the thing is for people who are severely depressed and just getting up out of bed in the morning is the struggle. It might be the one thing that might make the difference. And the thing is, from having that success, they can build upon that to other successes. And with success, it's, and with confidence builds determination. And then from determination is built passion. It takes time to get there. Sometimes it takes years to get there. But we can all get there. Even if it doesn't seem like we can. We can do it. We can go from the deepest, darkest pits of hell. And given time, energy, effort, and forgiveness of oneself for where we fall short, we can achieve the mountaintop experience that God has for us. It all depends on what we're willing to put in, what we're willing to bring out. It can't be done. Anybody can do it. And the ones that sit there and say, I can't do it, are the ones that, for one reason or another, don't even want to try. They want to quit. The question I have for them is, why do you want to quit? Why don't you want to try? We're not talking about being a success all at once. It's not, life is not about perfection, and no one lives a perfect life. Perfection is what we strive for. What we concentrate on, as long as we're making progress, that's good enough. We make the effort, and then the effort yields its own results. Okay, now about the holiday. Thanksgiving Day is a time honored holiday. Mm. Now, I've got some stuff here. Okay. Yeah, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start at this point. Okay, let me go ahead and resize this. Uh, Go ahead and resize some of this. There we go. Let's see where we're at here. Okay, that's Superman. Okay. Thanksgiving Day controversies. That's probably what y'all doing an end for, is find out how I'm going to deal with these Thanksgiving controversies. Well, for some scholars, the jury is still out on whether the feast at Plymouth really constituted the first Thanksgiving in the United States. Indeed, historians have recorded other ceremonies of thanks among European settlers in North America that predate the Pilgrim celebration. In 1565, for instance, the Spanish explorer Pedro Menendez de Avila invited members of the local Timucua tribe to a dinner in St. Augustine, Florida. After holding a mass to thank God for his crew's safe arrival, on December the 4th, 1619, the 38 British settlers reached a site known as Berkeley 100 on the banks of Virginia's James River. They read a proclamation designating the date as a day of thanksgiving to Almighty God. Some Native Americans and many take issue with how the Thanksgiving story is presented to the American public, especially to school children. In their view, the traditional narrative paints a deceptively sunny portrait of relations between the Pilgrims and the Wampanoag people, masking the long and bloody history of conflict between Native American and European settlers that resulted in the deaths of tens of thousands. Okay, I don't like the way this is worded here. Because the thing is the relationships between the Pilgrims and the Indians generally, have they been trading with each other? The thing is the Pilgrims flirted with their time of we're going to share and share alike and split. We're all going to put our all into this and then reap the benefits equally. Well, we know today to be communism. And they found out it didn't work because people in situations like that tend to get lazy. And then the lazy people look at people that work real hard and they look down upon them. And then the people that work real hard look at the lazy people just sitting around and they look down upon them. And that's what creates conflict. So the thing is, American history, when told properly, is very positive and should be a positive experience for all. Should be a positive experience for the teacher as well as the student. There's a lot of pride that goes into being an American. And with a proper understanding of our history and not some liberal rendition of it, the thing is, the United States is not an evil nation. Government is a necessary evil, yes. But the United States is a most benevolent power. The only time that we have attacked anybody has been in defense of ourselves. And generally, for the most part, very few exceptions, God has been with us and we've been victorious. Even with that, we have taken neither territory nor gloated in our achievements. Oh, we recognize our heroes for that. That is the right thing to do. We do recognize our heroes and their heroic acts, and we commemorate achievements. But the thing is, we don't necessarily take glory in warfare because warfare is the biggest of evil. You want to go to you want to go to hell? That's fine. Take a look at the map, find out where there's a war going on, and then go over there. Spend all the time you want over there because that is the closest place where you're going to find hell on earth is in the middle of a battle, in the middle of a firefight. And lately, you don't even have to go very far. You don't even have to leave the United States. All you have to do is go to a big city like Seattle, Portland, Chicago, New York. I'm sure they all have gangs. They all have. Oh, Black Lives Matter's been behind a lot of the rioting. Antifa. I'm beginning to learn a little bit about Antifa. I'm still not convinced how organized they are, but I'm starting to learn. The thing is, it's all of these and more. I love them under the banner of the forces of evil because they work against the United States interest. They work against the Constitution and Declaration of Independence. And most of all, they work against God. They celebrate evil. They call the bad good and they call the good bad. And they sit there and they are doing all the sin that they can do in this world. And then they're sitting there saying, it's them Republicans. They're doing it. Like we're too stupid to see what they're doing. To everybody that in the Democratic Party that's doing that, let me remind you, we're not that stupid. We may be deplorable, but we're not stupid. And the thing is you keep bearing false witness, you're going to have God to answer to. And we can just ignore you. And the thing is, when you sit there and tout your lies, and we sit there and try to correct you or add a little light context to what you're saying, and you refuse to hear what we have to say and keep spouting your lies, we're going to fight you every step of the way. The wonderful thing about the political arena is it is relatively safe. Nobody's going to kill you for speaking out. And if somebody's going to kill you for speaking out, there's something wrong there because the Constitution guarantees the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It's my happiness to teach you the truth, to give you words of life and encouragement. To set at liberty those who are bound through one thing or another. Although the American concept of Thanksgiving developed in the colonies of New England, its roots could be traced back to the other side of the Atlantic. Both separatists who came over on the Mayflower and the Puritans who arrived soon after brought with them a tradition of providential holidays days of fasting during difficult or pivotal moments, and days of feasting and celebration. And thank God in times of plenty. The Jewish traditions of Hanukkah, Sukkot, Passover, the Catholic rites of Lent, Easter, Christmas, the Christian concepts of Christmas, and the American concept of independence and Thanksgiving. And when you take a look at all this, they all revolve around our Creator, our Father, the one who made us. God made us through His power, and we also make ourselves by our decisions. And the thing is our decisions line up along with God's will. Our steps are ordered by God. God will meet us where we're at and bring us along and show us the way. Where God's not showing us the way, that means we have a choice, true choice. We can go left, we can go right, we can go good, we can go evil. Yes, good people do evil things and evil people do good things. You know, there are no real constants in the universe. The only real constant in the universe is change. You need to pay attention to who's who and what's what because it's difficult to know the characters without the program. Here, who's the hero today could be the antagonist of tomorrow. Now, what I would like to do is I would love to share with you the Thanksgiving Proclamation of October the 3rd, 1789, by the President of the United States of America. A proclamation where it is the duty of all nations to acknowledge the providence of Almighty God, to obey His will, to be grateful for His benefits, and humbly implore His protection and favor. And whereas both houses of Congress have, by their joint committee, requested me to recommend to the people of the United States a day of public thanksgiving and prayer to be observed by acknowledging with grateful hearts the many signal favors of the Almighty God, especially by affording them an opportunity peaceably to establish a form of government for their safety and happiness. Now, therefore, I do recommend and assign Thursday, the 26th day of November next, to be devoted by the people of these states to the services of that great and glorious being, who is the beneficent author of all the good that was, that is, or that will be, that we may then all unite in rendering unto him our sincere and humble thanks for his kind care and protection of the people of this country, previous to their becoming a nation, for the signal and manifold mercies and the favorable interpositions of his providence, which we experienced in the course and conclusion of the late war. For the great degree of tranquility, union, and plenty which we have since enjoyed, for the peaceable and rational manner in which we have been enabled to establish constitutions of government for our safety and happiness, and particularly a national one now lately instituted, and for the civil and religious liberty with which we are blessed, and the means we have of acquiring and diffusing useful knowledge, and in general for all the great and various favors for which he hath been pleased to confer upon us, and also that we may then unite in most humbly offering our prayers and supplications to the great Lord and ruler of nations, and beseech him to pardon our national and other transgressions, to enable us all, whether in public or private station, to perform our several and relative duties properly and punctually, to render our national government a blessing to all the people by constantly being a government of wise, just, and constitutional laws, discreetly and faithfully executed and obeyed, to protect and guide all sovereigns and nations, especially such as have shown kindness unto us, and to bless them with good government, peace, and concord to among them and us, and generally to grant unto all mankind such a degree of temporal prosperity as he alone knows to be best. Given under my hand in the city of New York, the 3rd day of October in the year of our Lord, 1789, George Washington. You know, if that is not a statement of faith and a faithful statement, what is? 1789, that was 12 years after the signing of the Declaration of Independence. That was when Thanksgiving, the celebration of Thanksgiving became a federal law. (1789), 300 years less, 60, 58, 300 years less. So for over 250 years, for over 250 years, we've celebrated Thanksgiving. For 250 years, we've gone through so much history, taken on every threat, not shirked from any of our responsibilities, and defended our nation to the greatest extent possible, despite what the Democrats have done. Now, the thing is, who are the real racists? I believe Democrats are, because I don't know very many Republicans who are truly racist. How can you identify a racist? Basically, if they view the world, they view other people through their race, period. That's so, this is a man, this is a woman. That's how I view it. I don't care about skin tone, skin color. I don't care about what they believe. This is a man, this is a woman. Okay? Somebody else sit there and say, Well, that's a black man, that's a white man, that's a yellow man, that's an orange man. Yeah. Oh, the orange man is evil. Uh, Wait a minute. They're totally racist because they're insistent on telling you what kind of man they are. Like it's something wrong with it, or maybe something right with it. Irregardless, they're favoring one person over another. The God I celebrate is not a respecter of persons. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, or purple with blue polka dots. It doesn't matter if you have a penny or a dollar in your pocket. And the thing is I hate these rich people that sit there and they think they're too good for everybody else. Thing is, they're really not worth powder it takes to home to hell because they don't have any love in them. People who do not allow other people to talk, especially when they disagree with them, and have a proper discussion on the subject, I have no use for them because they don't want to learn. They're not curious. They think that they can live everybody's life better than they can. And then when you take a look at them, you take a look at their life, and it's such a mess. It's like, geez, if you just leave your life alone, leave my life alone, concentrate on yours, you'd be a lot better off. You know, don't you just love it when somebody's sitting there and they moan after they're about 50 cents away from bankruptcy? They're about 50 cents away from bankruptcy, and yet they got the gall to tell me how to spend my money. Oh, I can't spend it on a new car because it drinks a lot of gas. Well, guess what? I get the car because I can't afford a horse. Car's cheaper. you know, Anymore, the car's so expensive anyway. And it's not even the car that's the biggest expense. It's the insurance. Virtually every state in the union has insurance laws. You have to carry insurance, general liability insurance. Yeah, the good thing is financial responsibility. The bad thing is it hikes the prices up. Oh, that's all right. The Democrats come along, and eventually, when Joe Biden's been in power, and he's had a little bit of a honeymoon, and he really thinks nobody's looking. He'll very quietly, and the media will keep quiet about it too, I'm sure. He'll very quietly hike the income tax rate to about 85, 90%. And then let's see now, we'll do the sin tax about 40%. Um, that's striking, smoking, crowd. Oh, I have no doubt they'll legalize prostitution. And oh yeah, they'll probably tax abortions. It'll cost about $500 to do an abortion. Well, let's drop on another $250 tax on top of that. Beyond, and that'll go to the people that can't really afford it. So that the government can pay for it. Yeah. And by the time they get done with levying all the taxes they want to levy, the rich people won't be rich anymore. They'll be bankrupt because they'll be owing 500% of what they make in taxes, one tax or another. Won't be any hope of anybody making a profit because they'll be so far behind in their taxes the first year it ain't funny because their tax levy is 600% of their income. I know what it's like. I lived through Jimmy Carter. And the thing is, let me tell you something. I was rich at the start of Jimmy Carter. And Jimmy Carter took a big bite out of my fortune. And Jimmy Carter didn't do me in as bad as I thought he would. No, that came later. That came 89, stock market crash 89. That's when I got. Yeah, I mean, I was so proud to make it through Jimmy Carter. That was not a fun time. The inflation rate was 18%. Every time I went to the store, yeah, I go to the store maybe twice a month. And I hate going to the store now because I'm still looking for that to happen. I go to the store and I got, okay, I'm going to spend $50 on food. Go in there and get my food and check out. It's $150. Then next time I go, it's $200. Then next time I go, it's $250. I'll never take enough money with me to, you know, that's when I found out what credit card was. Didn't like it. Paid it off every month good enough, but I didn't like the idea of it. Then when they came out with the debit cards, that's a lot better. So much better. I closed all my credit card accounts out and got me a debit card. Oh, it's so much better. It makes me feel so much better when I got a couple of dollars in the bank. That's when I know I can weather most storms. When I don't have enough in the bank, I start getting nervous. And the thing is when you're nervous, it's hard to be patient. Oh, I'm saying the word almost out of time. I didn't get to everything I want. Had so much on my heart. Ladies and gentlemen, all this time with me. On September 28, 1789, just before leaving for recess, the first federal Congress passed a resolution asking the President of the United States to recommend a national day of Thanksgiving. A few days later, President George Washington issued the proclamation naming Thursday, November 26, 1789, as a day of public Thanksgiving, the first time Thanksgiving was celebrated under the new Constitution. Subsequent presidents issued Thanksgiving proclamations, but the dates and even months of the celebrations varied. It wasn't until President Abraham Lincoln's 1863 proclamation that Thanksgiving was regularly commemorated each year on the last Thursday in November. In 1939, however, the last Thursday in November fell on the last day of the month. Concerned that the shortened Christmas shopping season might dampen the economic recovery, President Roosevelt issued a presidential proclamation moving Thanksgiving to the second to last Thursday of November. As a result of the proclamation, 32 states issued similar proclamations, while 16 states refused to accept the change and proclaimed Thanksgiving to be the last Thursday in November. For 2 years, 2 days were celebrated as Thanksgiving. The president and part of the nation celebrated it on the second to last Thursday in November, while the rest of the country celebrated it the following week. To end the confusion, Congress decided to set a fixed date for the holiday. On October 6, 1941, the House passed a joint resolution declaring the last Thursday in November to be the legal Thanksgiving Day. The Senate, however, amended the resolution establishing the holiday as the fourth Thursday, which would take into account those years when November has 5 Thursdays. The House agreed to the amendment, and President Roosevelt signed the resolution on December 26, 1941, thus establishing the fourth Thursday in November as the federal Thanksgiving Day holiday. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I do hope your holiday went well. And I'm sorry nobody's joined me, but perhaps it's because I'm being entertaining and informative enough. And I do hope that's the case. Basically, I've been getting my numbers coming in generally just time for the next podcast. They generally come in on Friday. So I look forward to getting them all week long. And then my numbers come in on Friday. I'm happy with my weekly numbers. But the thing is, I would love for more people to be watching my podcast live. I would love for my audience to participate. If you go back to the first couple of episodes, there have been times where people have come in and participated. I love interviewing people. I'm curious about how other people do things. And if I'm wrong, I don't mind being called on it. Convince me where I'm wrong, and let's discuss it because in those discussions, we will get to the truth. Because I may have a piece of the truth, you may have a piece of the truth. We may need to join those two pieces together. And even if we have a little bit of deception in there someplace, it's like peeling an onion. Let's peel the onion together. Get rid of the chaff and keep the heart. Keep the good stuff. Get rid of the bad stuff. That's how what we do together. Keep everything that's good. That's what I want. That's what I want for me, and that's what I want for you. All of you. I want y'all to pursue your happiness. Nobody's promised us happiness, but the thing is we do have a right to pursue it. Well, sometimes it's fleeting, runs away from us. Then we gotta go chase it. I'm not sure if we ever do really catch it, truly catch it. Sometimes we may think we do, but the thing is I'm still learning what the difference is between happiness and joy. And which is it that's more blessed? Which is it that's more blessed of God? I think I enjoy the joy more than I enjoy my happiness. One's fleeting, the other's more in the moment. Until next week, this podcast for life. And I thank you all. God bless.